Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports, I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me. Do the Eagles need to make a trade going into Tuesday's NFL trade deadline? Sunday's game against the Jags could also decide what Howie Roseman and this organization do. With that, we'll also take a look on today's show at some trade targets who have been linked to the Birds. Before we do that, be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the EAGLES. Anytime I'm in front of this camera on this microphone, I want to give you Eagles coverage that is insightful, informative, entertaining, thought-provoking, where you have a voice. We also like to have a lot of fun here on the show, like during our watch party. So join us, Eagles-Jags. Watch party gets underway on Sunday. We'll kick it off with an hour pregame show, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Hope to see you there. Where the Eagles sit right now, Philadelphia, 5-2. Good percentage chance that they make the NFL playoffs. They've won 3 games in a row. They're in second place in the NFC East, right behind Washington, who is 6-2 after that Jaden Daniels Hail Mary at FedEx Field over the Chicago Bears. Currently, the Birds have $10.1 million in cap space, $33 million next year. That number can be rolled over, and we know that Howie Roseman is always a magician with the cap. And when you canvass and think about this Eagles roster, they don't have a lot of needs. This is a pretty deep and talented football team. Where would the Eagles need an upgrade? Defensive tackle, edge rusher, overall defense? On the offensive side of the ball, I think they're pretty set. Now this week, Nick Sirianni was asked about Philadelphia making a move, and it's always important to relay what the head coach had to say, so let's do that right here. He said, I love the team that we have, and I think this team is really coming together. With that being said, I know we're always looking for ways to improve our team. I know Howie is the best at that, of always looking for ways that he can improve the football team. I admire that and value that of how he goes to work there. But like I said, I love the guys that we have. I think we're coming together really nicely as a team, but we'll see how this next week plays out. Each year is different. Again, like I said, any way that we can make the team better, I'm always up for that. So Nick Sirianni with a pretty good response there, explaining where he's at as far as this Eagles roster, but of course he's cognizant that Howie Roseman is a mover and a shaker. What's also of note is that we talk about Philadelphia maybe adding a defensive player. So defensive coordinator Vic Fangio was asked on Tuesday, do you think the Eagles need to make a move? Do you need an addition to your defense? Fangio said, no. I like where our defense is at, and rarely do in-season trades work out. We have seen that for Philadelphia, right? Kevin Byard didn't work out. Robert Quinn didn't work out. And Howie Roseman has made in-season trades before. Sometimes, yeah, he does swing and miss. It is hard to get players acclimated at times, and Philadelphia certainly knows that. Vic Fangio has an opinion on it. As for how the Eagles stack up on both sides of the ball, I think the Eagles' offense is just scratching the surface of what they can become. They're 10th in points per game at 24.4. They're 8th in yards per game, 12th in yards per play. They have to get better on third downs and in the red zone. If they figure out those issues, Philadelphia could put even more points on the scoreboard. Love what I'm seeing from this Eagles defense over the last few weeks. They seem to be turning the corner. Vic Fangio is coaching his tail off right now, maximizing these players, putting them in a big position to succeed, and Philadelphia reaping the benefits of that. Keep in mind how bad they were last year. I mean, they couldn't stop a runny nose. 7th in points per game, 7th in yards per game, 6th in yards per play. 20th on third downs, not great, but 6th in red zone touchdown percentage. Philadelphia right now, going into the deadline and going into week 9, sitting pretty according to the odds makers as well. Odds to win the NFC. Detroit Lions have been humming on the offensive side of the football. They're plus 300, so 3-1 odds to win the NFC and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl in New Orleans in February. The 49ers at plus 425. You have the Eagles and Packers at 7-1, and then the Vikings at 9-1. So let's segue to today's poll question. I want to see where everybody is at. Do the Eagles need to make a move? N for need, D for don't need. Share your thoughts with me down below in the comment section. Today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, sponsored by our friends at DraftKings, the best sports book in the game. Myself and Chip, We talk Eagles here on the channel. On Eagles Now, we also host a 76ers channel, 76ers Now. So you'll see the promo code that we want you to use, Sixers Chat, because DraftKings is sponsoring our Sixers channel and some NBA channels under the Chat Sports umbrella. But we want to push this to our audience because I know a lot of you in Pennsylvania and across the country use DraftKings. You like to bet on games, but DraftKings is the best sports book for a variety of reasons, including this one right here. The best deal. If you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. You just have to use the code SixersChat. Here's some more info on that. NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. And here are my picks for Eagles-Jags on Sunday at the Link. I like the Birds minus 7.5, and I'm going to go with this one. Eagles defense has been rolling. Jags offense really spotty. I think the Jags punt on the first drive. Both of those picks, minus 110. Use the code SixersChat. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. All that information is down below in the description and in the show notes of today's video, and also attached to the pinned comment right below. Here's what Jeremy Fowler had to say about Philadelphia going into the deadline. He knows how Howie Roseman moves. He knows what Howie's all about. He said the Eagles are always a threat to make moves at the deadline, but they have no obvious needs. Left tackle Jordan Mailata will return soon. The youth experiment on defense going well with pass rusher Nolan Smith and corners Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Would general manager Howie Roseman take a shot at a star such as Cardinals safety Budda Baker? Now, I know that Howie likes to star hunt. He likes to bring players in with high pedigree. Budda Baker still playing at a really high level. Number one, I don't know if the Cardinals move him. NFC West is wide open. Arizona's at 4-4. He is in a contract year, but I don't think they're in sell mode. But then also ask yourself this question. Do the Eagles even need Budda Baker? I don't think so. CJ Gardner-Johnson's playing well after a slow start, and he's like the heartbeat of that defense. With the swagger, the leadership, him being vocal, bringing that energy to the table. And Reed Blankenship has made so many big plays throughout his career as an Eagle. I think that safety tandem is really good. And I'm looking down at the comment section. Dennis Designs mentioning a name who we haven't talked about a lot because he's been injured. But Sidney Brown is a very good backup safety who I think the Eagles should find a way to get him on the field, but the Eagles don't really have any obvious needs. So I just don't think that Budda Baker is a player who Howie Roseman is going to target, nor does he need to target. And Fowler also makes some good points. These young players are balling for Philadelphia right now. He mentioned Quinyon Mitchell. Look at how Mitchell, Guantanamo Bay, has matched up against some of the top wide receivers in the NFL. He's given up 5 yards to Drake London, 23 yards to Chris Olave, 19 yards to Mike Evans, 10 yards against Amari Cooper. Malik Neighbors only got 9 yards on him, and Jamar Chase, 16 yards. As for his 2024 running mate in Cooper DeJean, look at where he ranks among all corners. Yo, this is awesome. Pro Football Focus overall grade of 84.4, fourth among 201 corners. A coverage grade of 87.2, second among 201 corners. He has a half sack. He's used as a blitzer, Swiss Army knife everywhere, making impactful plays, stopping Elijah Moore on that critical red zone play against Cleveland, and then the great play against Jamar Chase, in which we did the film study earlier this week on. He has 1 pass breakup, 2 TFLs, but how about these numbers right here? One of the top corners in the game, obviously limited sample size, but that's who he can become. And then Jeremy Fowler also threw out Nolan Smith. Some notable Nolan numbers. Say that 10 times fast for me down in the comment section. Smith played 30 snaps against Cincinnati last week, 52%. That's the most that he's played in a game this year. Second most of his career, week 18 against New York last year. That was the highest snap count that he's played. His pass rush grade is 72.6. That is 26th among 191 edge rushers, so not bad at all. He has 2.5 sacks in his last 3 games, but also when you dive deeper into some of the analytical numbers, Nolan Smith is thriving. Since week 5 and during this winning streak, pass rush win rate, 25%. That's 3rd in the NFL. Pass rush grade, 84. That's 3rd in the league. I love the rep that he had for the half sack against Amarius Mims, a first-round pick from April's NFL draft. That's first-round pick going up against first-round pick. And oh yeah, Nolan Smith, he's like 23 years old. Other players who could make sense for Philadelphia. Jonathan Cooper did play under Vic Fangio back in 2021, and he's a pretty good edge rusher. If Philadelphia doesn't go star hunting for a pass rusher, they could go with more of a rotational player like Jonathan Cooper who can get after the quarterback. Dalvin Tomlinson, he's a 30-year-old defensive tackle for a Browns team that I know that they beat the Ravens this past week, but they could sell, and Tomlinson could become available. He could really help you stuff the run. Jordan Davis just hasn't taken that leap. If you want to admit that you failed on the Jahan Dotson trade, he's been in the witness protection program since that trade to Philadelphia. Adam Thielen is playing on a bad Panthers team. And then if you want another rotational edge rusher who's not the star that he once was, Jadeveon Clowney is another player who could make sense for the Birds. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram. I put out a lot of short-form content on my social media pages, so hit me up over there at Chase_Senior. 14,000 followers on X. Thank you, Elon. More than 33,000 followers on IG.